Not good, fellas. Not good. Freaking buried her. Can't get her out. Wicked deep slush. I'm gonna walk back and not good. Not good at all. I did not make it back in. Alright guys, probably an hour before light. It is cold. Leaving the hotel establishment and gonna head in and unload my sled back into the truck, my tow sled, and take the snowmobile on the empty out to get the gear and then restart the trip. Sweet, I got one of these GoPros to work. Everything's frozen solid. Oh man, all right. So it's like an hour into daylight. I recovered my gear, got the snowmobile going. It was a little frozen up. I couldn't get all the slush out of the undercarriage last night. Ah, man, my nose is running. I'm in the truck heating up my snowmobile helmet so I could see. I can't see a damn thing. But I got all the gear that was in the tote sled unloaded into my truck from last night. Everything's frozen solid. There's a little bit of bait still alive in the smelt bucket. I haven't even looked in the other bucket yet. Went out empty with the tote sled, filled up all my stuff. I found it. I was on a different island than I thought anyway. Oh man, this trip. Now I got that tote sled full with the first load again. What I'm thinking about doing is pulling the pin, going out dry with the snowmobile, finding a good spot out of the wind for the week or for a couple days or whatever I can pull off now. All my batteries are frozen solid. None of the cameras would work, so I couldn't show you where I got stuck or what the lake looked like this morning. It was absolutely gorgeous. Negative 21 degrees, so pretty chilly. There's no one out there. I got the whole end of the lake to myself. I'm at a definite critical point where I could just load up this load and go home, or I could keep battling and see if I could get back out there on the lake and salvage this trip and make a great trip out of it. Just consider the trip starting today and a good lesson learned and a really, really fortunate night that could have gone poorly in many ways. My body is definitely smoke tired from trying to lift that damn thing out for an hour and pulling and lifting and pushing, and the walk out, you know, walking through a lot of like slush and sinking in past my boots and carrying probably 30 pounds of ice on each leg. So definitely tired. I woke up kind of cramped this morning. Both arms are cramped up, but I'll come out of that once I start drinking some water and get some coffee in me. It'd be really nice to get the tent set up today, get the coffee going. All right, I found a spot I could get to, and I should be out of the wind over here. I'm tucked in real nice in this corner. Snow is really deep. I hit one small slush pocket coming across that should freeze up pretty quick. But I went further up lake to a spot that really looked good on the map, and there's maybe two or three guys already up in that area. There's plenty of room for other people, but I just couldn't. I don't want to encroach on those guys anyway. I know there's all sorts of room to fish, but part of coming up to Moosehead and fishing this great, beautiful lake is being alone or having areas to yourself. There's plenty of lake for everybody. It's a big lake. So I left that bay and came down to this area here. I'm not too far from the truck. I'm within a couple miles from the truck, so trips will be short getting the gear out. Dug this out for the tent. It's pretty deep snow, as you can see. But this should give me a nice flat base when I bring the boards over for the setup. I'll flatten this out a little bit more. I'm gonna unload this load and go get the next load and start to set up and get the old coffee pot going and the heater going. All right, I got it pretty flat. I got the second load in with my floor, and I kind of flattened this out a little bit. I could scratch it down to bare ice, even though I'm not really on the lake, I'm on the shore. But it's kind of up and down like a shore would be. So I want to keep this tent as flat as possible, and you get really one shot at this when you're putting down a hard floor like this. So I'm going to use the snow to kind of equal it all out, and hopefully it'll be pretty flat. So I'm going to look at it one more time and scratch it down, and then bring the boards in and stomp them. fell exactly perfect. Let's get that heater going and start to thaw some things out. I like to keep my propane tank outside for a couple reasons. In case for some reason the valve or the connection ever leaks, it's not in the tent, dumping a bunch of propane in there, catching fire. And then the other reason, makes more room to keep it outside. So I run the hose underneath my tent. That's a neat little trick. Let's see if she'll start. All right, so these things you do the pilot. Usually this one's about, oh, that was second time this time. Usually it's third time. Then you hold the pilot until that blue flame kind of catches. And then you cross your fingers, let off, and flip her on. See if it lights. It did not. All right, start over. There's the third. I'm always a little nervous with this thing because it's kind of the lifeblood of the trip, not having a wood stove in here. This is my source of heat. I don't trust the propane stove burner because that's going to put out a lot more CO2 with that open flame. If this thing doesn't work, that's a bad trip. Sometimes you just got to let her heat up a little bit. She sat outside all night. Go ahead and put that on high for a little while. Finish unpacking. Well, let's see how the bait fared. Not looking good. Shoot. There's one swimming. Doubt the smelt did any better. Nope. All right, guys, camp is pretty much set up. It's a scattered mess right now, if you want me to be honest. I got stuff everywhere. I got stuff thawing out. I got stuff laid out. And still kind of organizing and unpacking. The nice thing is the coffee is percolating, so I'll have some coffee this morning, or I don't even know what time it is. Let me see, 10:52. So yeah, so I'm set up now, and it's still morning. So I think what I'm gonna do is drive some coffee into me. I'm gonna assess my bait situation. It looks like there is still a bunch alive in there, but a bunch is dead. It's starting to thaw out right now, and I got a bunch of that cat ice out of there. I'm thawing out my battery packs. My apple might never thaw. And yeah, that's about it, guys. I might get something to eat too. And then, geez, maybe even set some traps. Put together a plan once everything kind of gets unpacked and thawed out here and I feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm pretty comfortable now that I should be able to have a good night tonight. All right, got a little cup of coffee going there, and I'm feeling really good about staying. You know, there was a little voice in my head probably 5 or 6 times that was saying just pick up and go home and tail between your legs type thing, but man, that's just not in me. And I really like the challenge. And the thing about taking on a challenge is when a challenge gets tough, you can't just quit and go home. So as long as I'm still semi-safe and think I can have a good time, I'm staying. All right, we might as well do what we came up here to do and do a little fishing. Should be rocky, shallow, I'm guessing right around here. Not sure how shallow. Hopefully we don't hit bottom, but I'm gonna set some brookie traps, and I got a treat for you for the very first trap. We're going super old school, like older than your grandpappy's grandpappy old school. We're gonna throw down an antique fishing trap that a buddy of mine gave me that's really, really cool. Let me show you. All right, fellas, there she is right there. Look at that contraption. The only thing new about it is the line and the hook. But you just jam that in the snow and balance this and put a loop on it, and I don't know, we're gonna see. Don't forget, there's like state record brookies in here, so we're freaking around with the opportunity to catch state record brookies. And I love it. Let's see what we got for depth first. We got like nothing for depth. Let's set it anyway. We could always move out later. Might be like 6 inches here for depth. That's the idea right there. When he pulls on it, the flag goes up. And then it's just free spooling. Off to the races after that. Old wooden hand-carved reel. Pretty neat. All right, we're set up. Old antiquer. There's the shack, there's the mountains, and let's go. The cold has not been friendly. Shattered my iPad this morning at 20 below zero. Just, I don't know, just kind of maybe tweaked it a little bit. And then I got a really weird one too. This one's maybe not because of the cold, but it's the second time I've seen one of my replacement blades on my augers get a crack coming out of the screw, and I don't think I tightened them down too hard. I actually don't even hardly tighten them down at all. This one actually broke. I drilled a couple holes and I wasn't drilling good with those new blades. I'm like, what the heck's going on? But that should be out to here, so good thing I brought another set of blades. Oh man, I'm going through some blades this year. Wait a second, is this a rerun? Didn't we just do this last episode? Well, we're gonna change that out anyway, because even though it will drill, it doesn't drill very well. I can't do anything right yet because it's still frozen. I'm gonna leave it in front of the heater for a while. Look at this. Yeah, that thing wasn't even that tight. I don't understand it. Maybe I got a weird bend or something here that when it sucks down, it cracks right through there. It's the same exact spot that last one had a crack. The last one didn't break, it just had that crack there. Weird. All right, remember what I said about not going towards the blades. If you can help it. Weird. Right out of that hole. If you guys have ever had one break like that, let me know. This thing's like not even a week old. Just barely tight. The other one looks sharp, so we'll run with that. A lot of stuff breaking this trip, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. But I just had a nice visit from a old timer that lives down the way. He's 82 years old. He came over and told me I am in a phenomenal spot to be out of the wind all week, but a really bad spot for fishing. He said he's never seen anybody catch one over here and he's out all the time. But hey, there's always a first time, and maybe they weren't using big bait, I don't know. Trying out some bigger bait than typical for brook trout. I bought a bunch of nice smelt, but of course they all froze last night. Being left outside in that 20 below. But the shiners lived. A lot of them looked dead, but I changed out the water and got the oxygen going again and got rid of all the ice and the cat ice in that bucket. And they seem to have come back to life pretty good. There might be a couple dead is all. And that bucket is full. I probably got 7 dozen shiners in there, different sizes. So it'll be fun this week to try some different sizes for brook trout and see which ones they eat. Day 2 is winding down. Nothing really going on for brookies in there. Maybe it is a terrible spot like the old timer told me. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for day 2. A lot better day than yesterday. Got everything set up, made it so I can be comfortable enough. No problems, nothing's broken. A little sore, a little beat up. Pride's pretty much trampled, but you know the cool thing is there's always tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm gonna go at it pretty hard. I think I'm gonna run up the lake a couple miles and try to whale on some brook trout in a spot I think is gonna be good, looking at the maps. And as long as there's not too much wind, I'll be able to do that. If not, then we'll put together another plan. That's the cool thing about being here and right on the lake, is it's really easy just to jump around and change plans. So thanks for tuning in. So far, it's not the fish smashing video that I would really like it to be, but we'll get you some of those too. And hopefully tomorrow's the day.